Wrapped up for the only suspect who did not plead guilty in the fatal carjacking of Linda Frickey.
In a surprise deal today, the other three pleaded guilty to a reduced charge. Chris Welty live at Orleans Parish Criminal Court with the latest. Chris.
Liz, Lauren, that reduced charge is attempted manslaughter. The guilty plea came as quite a surprise to the Frickey family, who were initially told to stay away from criminal court today as jury selection was set to begin.
Linda would have forgave him if they would have just walked away. And they know that. They know that Linda would have been a good person.
More than a year since Linda Frickey was carjacked and dragged to her death in Mid-City, 3 out of the 4 suspects plead guilty. The judge sentencing 17-year-old Brianna Baker, 16-year-old Lanaya Theophile, and 16-year-old Markel Curtis to 20 years in prison. The trio will serve at minimum 15 years.
I felt relief because that's what we've been after this whole time, for justice.
In court, 2 of the teens expressed remorse, while one teen's attorney offered prayers.
And they were saying they were sorry. I'm sure they were, because you go back hindsight, a lot of times you are sorry for the actions you completed. But you did it. And unfortunately, they did it, and they have to serve the time.
18-year-old John Honore was not included in the guilty pleas. The Frickey family wants him to serve the maximum punishment.
John Honore deserves no mercy, and we'll give him the same mercy that he gave Linda. None.
The Frickey family is prepared to relive the graphic details of her death. They plan to continue showing up at court.
He stomped her, he maced her, he dragged her, he drove the car. Linda was pleading and begging for her life, so he deserves no plea deals.
Fox 8 legal analyst Joe Responti believes the case against Honore is stronger.
If it wasn't a slam dunk before, it sure appears to be now, because I'm going to bet that part of the deal for those other 3 was that they would testify against the 4th defendant in this trial.
Nothing happy came out of this today. We have 3 young adults who are now going to spend 20 years in prison. That's not a happy feeling to know that that's happening to them. But then when you go back and see what they did, Linda, or what they didn't do to stop him, they do deserve the time they're getting.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast, It Too Podcast. The acronym meaning, is it important to you? If it is, it's no judgment. If it isn't, there's no judgment. We can agree to disagree. So today we are just going to give some quick commentary about this case. The 3, actually is 4, but 3 of the suspects took a plea deal it happened in March of 2022. The 73-year-old Linda Frickey, they carjacked her, dragged her down the street, maced her, and she ended up dying. The teens were ranging from 15 to 17 years old at the time. And the 3 girls, they pled guilty and they got sentenced to 20 years, 15 to 20 years. So they'll be out by the time they're 30. If they 15 and 16, 17 years old. They have one boy, John Honore. He was 18. I believe they're going to give him life. They're going to make him an example. So, can you hear me, Allie?
Yeah.
What I think about this case is what I think about the state of the teenagers now. And just, they have no respect for older people at all. They don't even have respect for each other. They'll kill each other with no type of remorse or anything. But to do this to a 73-year-old, I know they were ranging from the ages of 15 to 17. But do you see all the stories I've been sending you of young teenagers like that just beating old people?
Yeah.
Like the Uber driver I sent you, and how they beat that lady, because I'm not sure what happened with the older lady, but they beat the lady so bad, and they were all 15 and 16 years old. So,
I don't know if they're walking around with so much rage and hate in their heart. Obviously, that's what it is. it's just like when you have grandparents, when you have older people that you love, it's not even. It make you want to say the same thing the lady said on the news clip when she said they didn't have no mercy for her, so we're not gonna have no mercy for him with his time. So,
and she actually said that about the young man because the three girls, one is named Brianna Baker, the other one name is Markel, and then the other one name is Lenra. She said that they expressed remorse in court and they apologized to their family, but they're saying the young man, John Honore, 18 years old, he was the main one because he maced her. You can't tell on the video, but they were saying it seemed as if the lady was trying to get out the car and got hung up in the seatbelt and they drug her down the street.
So he did most of the damage.
Yeah, and I could bet you any money they probably, because they young, he's the oldest, listening to him and making stupid decisions. But let me tell you my opinion. I think it starts at home. You know why? Because these parents, they try to be their kids' friend and do all this stuff with them and let them talk to them any kind of way. So when these kids go out in the street, they think they can do it to other people. It starts at home, and they just disrespectful. You do it at home, so now when you go to school, you think you do it to your teacher. That's why you see so much trouble with these kids at school with these teachers. They have no respect. Back in the day, the kids had more respect for the elderly.
They did.
You imagine, I can't even imagine my grandmother, your great grandmother, who's 94, which, like I was just telling you, I'm happy she doesn't drive anymore. Can you imagine somebody doing that to her?
Oh my God, I'm so happy she don't go nowhere or go nowhere without me, or at least somebody else in our family, because I can't. And then with my other grandmas, it's like I be
scared.
But I know they protect it.
Mm-hmm.
I know they protect it, but it's like we never know still.
Exactly, and I'm gonna tell you this because now, if you think she the same age as mama, so that's crazy. You know, she was 73. You know, that's the same age range. I just don't. A bunch of 15, 16-year-olds.
Yeah, I know how I don't be saying nothing to grandma, but when she don't be speeding, but she drive. For her age, she drive like a young person.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, oh my God, you want her to slow down, because I know she don't know how these young people the road rage they have.
Yeah.
They will get, like, back in the day, they used to just, beep at each other, going about their day. Now, they getting out the car, asking you what's up. Like, they don't care if you're old, nothing. They don't care.
And so they'll shoot.
Yeah, they would shoot at the car. I would hate for that to happen, too, because I know she'd be driving, like, a little fast. Mm-hmm. Like, these young people are very, 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 very disrespectful sometimes. So it's like...
Yeah, or they'll shoot you. They'll get out the car or punch you. They don't even care for old people. Just like I seen another case. This happened. This was like in England, though. The boy is 15. I guess the old man was an army vet. You know how those army vets can be. Because they got so much PTSD. But the boys, you know, they was being obnoxious, running through the train station and messing with the elevators. And the old man got in his face and told him to stop, which he shouldn't have done that. But the boy punched him one time and he ended up dying because, I mean, the old man did come in his face, but it's just crazy because, you know, I don't know, just thinking, you know, he was an old man, you know, even though he was in your face, he just was trying to tell you, you know, to stop running through a train station and acting a fool. And he only got 2 years. And then that's another thing I think these kids know at their young age. Oh, if I get in trouble, I'm not going to get that much time and I'll be out. And
even if if you 15 and they give you 7 years,
You still can live your life, and just like I'm saying, even though they got 15 and
what,
20 years,
22?
huh?
You'll be out when you 22.
22. And see, these girls, the three girls, 16, 17 to 17, they got 15 years. They still going to be in their 30s. So they still relatively kind of still young. They still can live their life when they get out.
Yeah. But for you
But
to go through your 20s in jail, it's like, whoa.
yeah, it's still a little hard. And hopefully, they said that the girls were very
Because I feel
remorseful.
like the most important years of your life are your 20s and your 30s.
Well, it's your perspective, because some people say the best years of their life,
No, I didn't
if you
say the
can,
best. I said
it
the most learning, like the most,
you
those years you should absorb the most knowledge in your life. Because by the time, and that's like proven, by the time you're 40 or something, you should, they say you get stubborn by the age. So by everything that you to learn and your mind is programmed, that's what it is. Unless you learn how to reprogram your mind. But I think in your 20s and your 30s, that's where you should be learning the most lessons and challenges in your life.
and they probably will in prison, but it's just, in my opinion, I think it all starts at home. I think that these
Yeah.
parents need to stop trying to be their you,
Friend.
these kids' friend or be a parent, because when they go to school, they disrespectful to these teachers. They trying to fight the teachers. They beating teachers up, putting them in the hospital. And then there's music too. I think it has a lot to do with the music. The music is very violent, and these kids, they will kill you. That's why if you ever get into a situation with a 15 or 16-year-old, I hate that you have to think like this, but you got to think it's kill or be killed, because these kids will kill you and then put it on social media and put laughing faces. Like, that's crazy to me. It's like the sensitivity to murder and harming another person is just completely, they desensitized to it. It's funny to them.
Mm-hmm.
But that it's just crazy. But anyway, they got 20 years, but the 18-year-old, this is who I believe, and then he's a black man. They're gonna make an example out of him, and I believe he's gonna get life. And I believe they're gonna use the girls as use their testimony against him. So because he was the main culprit in the case anyway, he did almost all the stuff. So
But the only thing we could do is try to protect our elderlies that we know, and
hmm
teach, try to teach even younger, older,
hmm
try to at least encourage, not teach them, because at some age, at some point in their life, if they're already a certain way, it's hard to try to mold them to be something else. So the only thing we could do is encourage them
to
to
do.
do what's best for them,
hmm
because that's their life. So that's to do what's best for them, so they don't end up in prison. Because giving somebody 20 years, they and it's been proven since the beginning of time. People getting 100 years, they still don't learn. The people still don't learn. They don't care. They're like, oh, that's you. You got that time. I might not get that. I might get away. So only thing you can do is encourage the people that surround you, because you would think that him getting 20 years, or wait, no, they who
The
got
girls.
no, for if you think that him getting most of the time, younger people would be like, dang, I'm looking at these stories. They young, they missing out on their whole, not their whole life, but most of the life that they should be living. Let me not do that. They don't know. They don't care. They're not gonna. That's not a lesson for them, because they don't know them. That's not a personal experience.
Mhm. And then now it's like the music, and they think it's cool to have a life of crime. And that's the last thing I want to ask you before we end. Do you think that was enough time for the three girls that was involved in this 15 to 20 years for what happened?
Mm. Do I feel like they deserved it?
Do you think they should have got more time, or you think that was fair?
Well, because I'm still human and I have a heart, I part of me feels like I feel bad in a way because I know they're so young and I know they're gonna go through so much depression. Because they're for sure nobody's having fun in prison. First of all, but
Okay, so do you think that's enough time?
I
Yes.
think that I don't. I'm in between because I have a heart and I feel bad, but at the same time, look what they did. They had no mercy for. So I don't
Right.
know what to say. Is like I said, that's everything goes to have a personal experience, so I can't lie and
Yeah.
say how I feel. I feel a way. I feel like they do deserve time, but part of me feel bad, but part of me also feels like when I make a logical decision, I feel like they deserve it because they didn't have no mercy for her. And
Okay.
then because they had the right to say, I'm not doing this. Don't do that to that lady.
Right.
They smart enough. They not dumb. When I was 15, I'm not dumb. I know when to say I'm not doing something. But when I make a logical decision, okay, they do deserve it. When my heart step in, I feel bad because I start thinking about the emotions that they gonna go through in prison. But so that's why. But when you're a judge, you can't go by your heart. So
And see, that's my point too, because I just I think about my grandma, and if it was them, I wouldn't. That wouldn't be enough time. So we're gonna end, and you guys let us know, was my throat, was that enough time for these kids, or do you think they should have got more time? Like, share, and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.